What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Project Ozone 2, a Kappa Mode. Oh yeah, guys. So last episode, we started busting through a bunch of quests. We are trying to knock out all the thermal expansion stuff. We started doing all the thermal expansion jetpacks, and then we got to a problem. We tried doing, what was it, the flux-infused jetplate, I think is where we ended off, and we weren't able to continue. We got every piece made here, except for this guy, and the reason is because it required a Zivicio chest plate, which requires an Imperial chest plate, and then a Crucio, an Osseo, and Spectre, and Titanium, Diamond, Gravitite, Reinforced, whatever, Jade, Exoskeleton, Zanite, Steel, Bronze, Osmium, Lapis, Iron, Chain, Leather. Yeah, so it's expensive. There is a lot of stuff that goes into that. So you guys remember a while ago, I set up our mob farm over here to throw away all of the different pieces of armor that had a bar on it, durability bar, and we kept all the pieces that were 100% full, right? I've since removed like a lot of the stuff from our mob farm here being stored in the drawers. But you can see in my inventory here, I do have a chain helmet, and then we have some jade armor. This is the stuff that we got from the Urbis a while ago. The jade armor is really good, and that was the reason why I kept that, is because I knew that we were going to be needing it. So the jade armor, if we look at the recipe for this, requires exoskeleton chestplate plus jade to get this, but the exoskeleton requires the zanite, the steel, the bronze, osmium, lapis, iron, chain, leather, right? So it's good to have that. It's a great... I can't remember if that's halfway or if that's more than halfway through the recipe chain. But anyway, we have those, so that is like a great help to proceed to the next version. Unfortunately for our helmets, we didn't have anything higher than the chain version. Gold isn't a part of the chain, leather is the first tier, and then we have some chain helmets. I don't think any of these other ones are a part of that either. So yeah, we have to start at the chain version on the helmet, and we can start at the jade version on everything else. What other jade? That was it. Okay, I guess we have a jade axe. So we so happen to have gotten all of these pieces when we were in the Urbis last. But anyway, what we need to do is we need to start looking at how to upgrade these further. So the uses on this does require reinforced exoskeleton plate, right? So that is 9 exoskeletons to turn into 1 plate. And if I remember correctly, we're going to need 24 pieces of that exoskeleton just to get the one armor set all the way up. The armor that we're going to make, this stuff, let's go to the quest here. This stuff right here, the Zivicio armor, I believe you have to use that in order to turn that into the draconic stuff, right? So if we want the wyvern chestplate and then the draconic armor later, this is going to be all of that stuff. So we're going to need a second chestplate specifically for turning it into the flux-infused chestplate, right? And then I didn't check this out yet. Let's go back. I think it was the Delta section. Yeah, we're going to need the dark infused jet plate. Let's take a look at that. The dark dash infused. Okay, you know what? I think I was looking at the quest title, not the name of the item. Let's go back over here. Dark solarium jet plate. Okay, so that's why I couldn't find it. Dark solarium jet plate requires, oh, okay, dark plate, which is more Zivicio. Okay, so we are going to need a little bit more than that. So we're going to need the 24 pieces plus an additional 16 pieces of that reinforced exoskeleton in order to get this stuff done. Yeah. So next stop, Urbis. Do I have a thing here? I think I might have. Yes, I did. Okay. So we need to go kill things that drop exoskeleton. I need to put my magnet on. I think pretty much everything here in, well, not everything, but pretty much everything here drops a little bit of the exoskeleton. Did we get anything from there? No. So I'm going to have to go around and find out what does. None from that. It might even be better to smack things with my sword, because I don't know if we get looting off of this. Do our bolts? Where are our bolts? Do these have looting on there? It doesn't say we have looting on here. It might be better to smack things around with the sword to get that looting 3. I'm not 100% sure on that. Let's try smacking whatever this is with our sword. You're dead. So we got 2. Hey, what are you? Some kind of an animated grass block, I guess. Camouflage powder. Oh, that's cool. I don't think I ever saw one of those things before. Anyway, let's kill some spiders. How are we doing now? Still only 2. Okay, well, this is going to take a minute. So I'm going to go around. I'm going to kill lots of things. Hopefully I'll find something like these scorpions that for sure drop the exoskeleton. Oh my goodness, I'm going to die here. If I'm not careful anyway, some of these spiders do a lot of damage, don't they? Whew. I'm going to grab my bloodstones out of here just to make sure we'll be okay. And then I guess maybe my white stone as well. Probably don't need that much protection. I'm going to use it anyway. But anyway, guys, I'm going to continue doing what we're doing here. Hopefully, we'll be able to get... I don't like these guys. Move slow down was slain by Hypno using refined glowstone broadsword confusion. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of weird things here. Anyway, I'm going to keep at this until we get enough of the exoskeletons. And we'll be back, guys. Alright guys, so the new plan is we're here in one of these antlion places. I remember the antlions drop a lot of these exoskeleton plates. Very, very common from them. I found some chests and I grabbed a few different pieces and random things. Whoop, on fire. Yeah, I've just been putting things back away in our wireless terminal here, but you can see I have a bunch of cardboard boxes in my inventory. Yeah, I've been collecting the antlion spawners. And we're gonna set up a spawner system somewhere out of here so we can collect the exoskeletons a little bit easier. In fact, you know what? I think we're ready to go now. Let me grab some blocks. How about cobblestone out of the system here, just so we have somewhere or something to place down. And I think we're gonna go ahead and warp to the nether roof. It's just a nice... It's a nice place, nice and flat. There's nothing else around here. The only thing we fought up here before is just wither bosses. And now that we have nether stars, there's really, or nether star seeds going, there's no real reason to fight anything else up here. How are we doing on these? So we're up to 22,000 octatic, 47,900 double layer, and 95,000 of the basic capacitors. My goodness, that's just off of those 6 seeds. This is still going, and this is still also running off LPG. This is another thing I forgot. I should get another Tesseract and replace that with a Tesseract. So this all runs off the main base. But anyway, let's go over this way, away from this stuff. It doesn't have to be like super far, but we just don't want to be within spawner range when I come here. So we'll put these a few blocks off the ground. Whoa, whoa, a little crazy there with the pick. We'll place this a few blocks off the ground here. Something like that. We can just do like a line of these things. It doesn't have to be super fancy. Just a spot where we can place down all of these spawners here, uncardboard box them, and be able to get the antlions in a more friendly way. Okay, so I think I have to do it with an empty hand. Yeah, it's gotta be an empty hand. Break that. Oop. One spawn right away. Oh my goodness, you got so much stuff on the hotbar. Okay, so shift, right click, right click, right click, right click, right click, try to right click. Get out of here. All right, so there we go. Now we got a bunch of antlion spawners here, so I can farm them in peace and get our exoskeletons. Yeah, so we're looking at getting about 216 of these things. That is 9 times 24 is 216, which is 3.3 stacks. We are actually gonna need more than that because of the additional Zivicio chest plate. So I'll probably end up getting, I don't know, 5 stacks. We'll say 5 stacks worth of these things, and that should be pretty good, I would imagine. But anyway, it's going to take a bit of time for me to farm these up, so I'm going to keep at this, and we'll be right back, guys. Okay, so I ended up collecting a little over 5 stacks. We got 5 stacks plus 3. In fact, I think we still had some exoskeletons here in the system. Yeah, we had 29 of them. Now we have 352. Okay, so that's a decent amount. So we needed 24 of these things, I do believe, in order to make the armor, the exoskeleton armor that we need. I don't know if we have everything else that we need in order to progress further. Let's do, yeah, let's just do like an osteo helmet or something just to kind of see what we need. So we need titanium, diamond, gravitite. That might be something we're gonna have to go farm as well. Reinforced exoskeleton. Okay, and then there's gravitite. So let's do, well, I guess for the helmet, I need to get, let's get the different pieces of the jade armor that we had out, and then the one chain. I put all this stuff away because we're running out of inventory space. Okay, cool. So let's do, again, the helmet. We'll click through this to, oh man, there's just so much stuff. I forget. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have to turn it to an iron helmet. I guess we didn't need that one out here. You know what? I was gonna do this all on camera, but it's gonna be like a little bit of me clicking through this recipe, getting to the next one. Let me bring them all up to the jade level, and then we'll be right back. All right, so now that they're all at the same level, it'll be a little bit easier to do this. So we just have to look up the recipe for one of the items, then we can move on to the next one. So reinforced exoskeleton helmet, there. So we need to do this for like all the different parts, like these leggings. There we go. Chest plate, I think, goes here. Then we have to fill in all of this stuff. Yeah, there's that. And then boots, I don't remember, maybe just like this. Okay, so there we go. So there is our reinforced exoskeleton armor. So the uses on this thing wants us to do, yeah, the enhanced gravitite. How much gravitite do we have? We have 33. I think we need 24, right? And then we have to enhance it with the ambrosia. Man, we don't have a lot of that stuff. I'm going to have to fortune this. And then we need the altar. I think it is this one here. All right, let's place this down. So we're going to need our builder's wand, this stuff here. Pretty sure you can fortune this stuff. We'll just do it this way. Cool. All right, and then I need my fortune pickaxe, which I still have in here. Is it this one? Fortune 3. That looks correct. And vein mine for the win. Cool. All right, so we can put that away, and this away. All right, so we got well over a stack of that stuff. Good. All right, so gravitite ore. I think you can just click that all on here, right? Yeah, and then we just need to spam these on there. We make the pieces. All right. Well, you know, this is just going to take a lot of time to craft all these things up. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of this stuff off camera. And if there's anything else crazy, I'll bring you guys back in. But I really don't think we're going to have anything crazy going on here. It's just going to be a little bit of crafting. So I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Alright guys, well I've done a little bit of work here, so we're going to have to be making the magical crop armor, which requires a whole lot of these different types of ingots to be made. Let's scroll down, yeah, so we made a pattern here for a Magnesio block, that's just 9 Magnesio essence. Then we have to do stone-infused mana essence. I believe these are the items that's used to repair, like the artifact armor or whatever. But anyway, you can see it takes 4 stone, a Magnesio block, and 4 mana essence, right? So then we can use that stuff to make the Osseo ingot, or Accio, or however you guys say that's supposed to be pronounced. Anyway, so we have iron infused mana essence, and then we have the Crucio ingot, gold infused mana essence, Imperial ingot, finally diamond infused mana essence, and then the Zivicio ingot. So we have all those patterns made. I just got done making all of those different ingots. So now we can start into our actual quest here. So let's go ahead and get this done. So we needed to upgrade the Spectre helmet to the Osseo helmet. We'll do that. Chest plate. We'll fill in all of these guys. That's this one. We'll do the leggings like so. And then finally we got to do the boots, right? Okay. So there's all the different pieces. That should complete the quest here in the beta section for Osseo armor. Cool. All right. So let's grab a loot chest for there. So now we have to upgrade that to Crucio, to Imperio, and finally to the Zivicio. It's all pretty much the same thing, and I have all the ingots made. So what was the next one? Is the Imperio? Let's grab these. Let's do the one that requires the most stuff being filled in first. I don't really know if that makes a difference. Hold on. Is it not this? Imperio? Maybe it's Crucio. You have to do these in a certain order anyway. Ah, it was this one. Okay. So there's that. We'll do the helmet. Yeah, it's the yellow. Then it's going to be the blue. Oops, I forgot one more there. Cool. And then finally this and this. And there we go. There is the full Crucio set. Quest complete. All right. So now we got to do this to the Imperio. So we can do that. Trying to figure out. How do we do this so we can do like a lot of these at once? I don't know. Maybe just like that should be fine. So we can do the chest plate, then the boots. Then we have to do the pants and the helmet. No, pants first. Then helmet. Okay, there we go. So now the Imperio version is done. Nice. And finally, we just have to do the Zivicio. I was going to look that up, but I guess I already know what we need to do. So there's that. We can do a helmet. we can do the boots. I think that's the way you're probably supposed to do this, right? So there's the chest plate, there's the helmet, there's the boots, and finally, gotta draw in the pants, and there it is. Okay, so now we got all of those done. That feels pretty good. This is something that's been bothering me that we haven't completed those for quite some time. So let's go ahead and choose some of these loot chests here. Grab that one of those, grab one of these. Cool. All right, so that's all done. Let's open up some of these things. So what do we get? Essence bricks. All right. Just kind of like building blocks, nothing super crazy good. Typesetting table, printing press, Aristotle disc, and finally we get another flamethrower. Okay, so these are all things that we have already received before. Whoops, I put my bolts away. Bolt. All right, so we got that, put the music disc away. Cool, so now we got this full set of armor here. We needed another one of these Zivicio chest plates for making, well, I guess we need two more of them, one for each of the different jet plates. So let me go ahead and make a couple more Zivicio chest plates. I believe we have enough ingots here. I think we're gonna need 16 more. 60 more Zivicio ingots. Let's see, can we craft those? Ah, okay, we're out of raw mana essence. So that is a crucial ingredient into making this stuff. Now, we got those from all the loot bags from our monster kills forever ago. But yeah, our supply has ran thin. So we still have all of the artifact armor over here, right? So it's hard to see, but you can see on the tooltip, it says artifact diamond armor, 385 of those, 627 chest plates, 505 of the pants, and 456 of the, I guess those are the boots. It doesn't really show in here, it just says all artifact diamond armor. But anyway, we can grab a bunch of these things out of here. Doesn't really matter what the stats are because we already have pretty much the best stats that we care about right now. So anyway, just W click these all into the crafting grid and then shift click them out like so. We'll have plenty of the raw mana essence to make these Zivicio ingots, and everything should be good after there. What is this one enchanted with? Protection 4 thorns. I mean, that probably would have been good had we need the armor, but we don't really need that. Oh, that made exactly 64 of those. So Zivicio, again, let's try and make 16 of these things. Cool. So I do have like all these different essences now being crafted through Applied Energistics with its respective orb, or I guess infusion stone is what that's called. Yeah, so it goes a little bit slower, but it's all automated and we don't use more of the Minicio than what we actually have. So I think it's all fine doing it this way. So anyway, let me go and make those chest plates, and then I will probably look at making the rest of the Ender IO jetpack stuff, at least the thermal expansion one, and then we'll be back, guys. All right, guys. Well, I went ahead and I made all the parts required for our flux-infused jet plate. Yeah, we had to make a little bit more of these flux armor plating things. But yeah, it was just a Zivicio chest plate plus all of that stuff. It wasn't really that bad once we got the Zivicio chest plate made. But anyway, we still have one more ready to go for the Ender IO version. But here's our flux-infused jet plate. Okay, so now that quest is complete. So this chest plate, we can take this off, and I do believe just having that, yeah, that gives us creative flight by itself. Looks like it is pretty powerful as far as up and down momentum goes. But as far as like side to side, I don't think this really does much for us, and it does require having RF, which I'm not really a fan of. We don't need that anyway since we have the angel ring. But the vertical momentum is kind of nice, I guess, but we don't need it. Anyway, so we made this piece. That is what was required. I guess I'll just let that charge up for whatever reason. So let's go back to the Delta section. So that was this one right here, flux-infused jet plate. Let's go ahead and claim, let's do the top one. Okay, so that's all done. So I was going to start working on these over here, but I noticed that this is still locked out. And I don't know if it's the photovoltaic cell 1 and 2 that's causing that, or maybe one of these other things. We'll look at that here in just a second. Let's open up our loot chest. We get more typesetting tables and printing presses. How many of those are we going to have before the end of the series, I wonder? I don't know. Okay, so 60 million RF is now stored in that thing. Right, so I guess what we should do at this point is look and see what it takes to unlock the conductive jetpack quest. I kind of feel like it's going to be, I don't think it'd be the dimensional transceiver. This line would be drawn to this if it was this one. So it might be the photovoltaic. I don't know. Let's take a look. So the photovoltaic is a fused quartz, energetic alloy, and red alloy ingot. We should be able to make all of those stuff. Fused quartz. I guess we don't have that on AutoCraft. Did I ever hook up an alloy smelter over here? I don't remember now. I did not. No. Okay. So we might want to add in those over here or something. We do have an alloy smelter ready to go, but yeah, if we don't have the fused quartz, we don't have the fused quartz, right? So we have a sag mill and an alloy smelter. Okay, let's put these machines down. I guess we will do, which one? This is, yeah, sag mill and then alloy smelter. I'll hook both of these machines up. They definitely need to be hooked up at some point. I was kind of thinking we wouldn't need to really worry about them too much because we have the hardened glass being auto-crafted over here. But yeah, some recipes do in fact require having fused quartz only. All right, so we need an interface here. Let's grab 2 of those. We'll do these like we've always done. Do the cables. You know, I don't think I ever put applied energistics over here. These guys aren't hooked up. I was also thinking we should get ourselves another fluid transposer that is specific for redstone. Maybe get ourselves a pair of these machines, a magma crucible, always melting down redstone, always pushing it into the fluid transposer, and then a fluid transposer automated, or I guess having patterns and stuff for redstone infused things, because we are going through a lot of that, and I have to put in redstone a lot in here manually. I don't know, I think that might be a good idea, but I'm not 100% sold on it just yet. Okay, so we need some more energy conduit. Just 2 of those. We're probably gonna need some ME conduit as well. We're gonna need some ME glass cable. Looks like we need some more of the white ones. Perfect. Okay, so we need, I already put the interfaces up there. And I don't, you know what? I might hook this one up so it's always being filled full of redstone. I might do that. Not 100% decided, but I might just do that. Okay, so ME conduit, we'll connect that here, here, here. We're gonna need item conduit so we can put underneath these machines. So when they are done, they can extract to the bottom and into like an interface or something like that. You know what? I don't think the magma crucible needs an item conduit. This we can set to extract. So we have a red and we have a orange. I think we'll just do orange at the bottom. That should be fine. So we should also set these things up to be polling. The item conduit needs to be polling automatically. Let's do that. So the up connection, always active. Always active. And finally, this one will be always active. These machines also need to be hooked up, configured correctly. So this is going to be pull from the top, push to the bottom. And same for this one over here. Pull from the top. Oop, clicked off the screen. And push to the bottom. Cool. So those should now be automated. We'll also want to have some kind of an export bus, I think, with a crafting card to export dark steel balls into this particular machine. So we might get rid of this. Do we have an export bus? We have it on AutoCraft. Let's go ahead and make one of those. All right, so we'll do an export bus here. We need a crafting card. I do have those on AutoCraft. It looks like nice. So one of those, we need dark steel balls. So we want to export from system, or we're going to want this thing to craft. So we need the crafting card in there so it can craft. Put that there. Use stocked items or craft while exporting. So I think it uses stocked items first and then it will try and craft as a way that works. So I think we should be good with that particular setup. Cool. All right. And then I guess we'll run the ME glass cable here and here. Yeah, and that'll be our conduit down to an interface or something. I don't know. I don't really know what the best way to do that. I mean, I guess that's fine. We'll just have to use more of the conduit facade for those. Okay, well, anyway, let me get the cable ranks. I don't think we have applied energistics cabling here. We do have a P2P, but yeah, I'm gonna have to get the P2Ps all hooked up for that. Anyway, let me get to it and we'll be right back. Cool, so I got all these things hooked up to Applied Energistics now, and I do have our Magma Crucible always being stocked full of redstone, so I decided, yeah, this is going to be a redstone only fluid transposer. So I'll have to make another one. We're gonna need one for ender pearls, and I think we need another one for glowstone. So we'll look at hooking those up sometime in the future. Looks like Herobrine was here and he touched my alloy smelter again. Dang guy. So I got this hooked up as well. So now we're able to do 3 blocks of quartz equals 3 fused quartz is the recipe. So I just told it to make like 30 of those, so we have a little bit in the system ready to go. But yeah, we needed to make the photovoltaic cell, so let's do that. So there's one of those, and that completes this quest. Let's go ahead and claim a chest. And then photo cell 2 wants us to make the advanced photovoltaic cell. All right, so what's the advanced one cost? That is 2 of the photovoltaics plus some vibrant alloy, electrotine alloy ingots. We have all that stuff, I think. Yep, there we go. Cool. All right, so there's that, and that one's done. Awesome. Let's do another chest. Okay, so that still did not unlock this conductive jetpack, so I'm not sure which one of these is required. It says X or. Does that mean that like we can either do this one or we can do this one? We can't do both? I'm not really sure what that means. Anyway, there's a few other bits and pieces in here, like this enchanter. We should probably make one of those by now. That would help us out for getting some other things later on. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I forgot. This was changed. This requires enticing crystals, which requires villagers, which we do not have. Aha. Okay. That also requires 20 million RF and the soul binder plus an emerald. That's not the hard part. The hard part is getting the villagers. So that's something we're going to have to look at in the future. I was thinking we were going to be able to just bust those out. No, we're not. So there's some sewage florbs, and this one is cooking for blockheads. Both of those we don't really need at this point in the game, but you know, whatever. I'm still hoping to get one of those really rare items. It'd be pretty cool. Anyway, guys, we're gonna go and wrap the episode up here for today. We finally got ourselves our Zivicio armor. Yep, we're finally able to make the flux-infused jet plate. Pretty happy about that. We'll be looking at taking this armor on this armor stand right here and upgrading that to the wyvern stuff here pretty soon. But yep, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on the episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.